2023 was a great year for our Philly sports. 3 out of the 4 teams that I cover made the playoffs, the Eagles made it to the Super Bowl, and the Phillies came 1 win away from the World Series. There are a lot of great things to look back on from this year, and as a Philly sports YouTuber, I thought that I would break down the top 10 Philly sports moments of 2023. Coming in at number 10, I'm going to put the game between the Eagles and the Bills. The Birds had a comeback late in this game, and Lincoln Financial Field was getting rained on heavily. After being down 10 points in the fourth quarter, Jalen Hurts and the Eagles were able to climb all the way back to set Jake Elliott up for a 59-yard game-tying field goal. In awful conditions and the wind blowing away, the kick seemed impossible, but Elliott banked it through to send the game to overtime. In overtime, the Eagles marched right down the field after Buffalo's field goal, and Jalen Hurts ran it in for a game-winning touchdown. Definitely the best game of this Eagles season so far, and it cracks the top 10 on this list. Number 9 isn't necessarily a moment, but something that is going on that has been great for Philadelphia Flyers fans. The Flyers are defying the normal standards of a rebuild and actually winning during the season in which they were supposed to be terrible. Holding a playoff spot at the new year was unheard of at the beginning of the season, but now a playoff spot has a chance of a reality. My next video will go more in depth on the Flyers and their winning ways, but I just thought I'd mention them in the top 10 because it has been really something special. At number 8, I'm going to put Joel Embiid winning his first NBA MVP. The reason I put this so low on the list is because the Sixers didn't achieve what they wanted to after, so the moment was kind of overshadowed through the media. All in all, it was still a wonderful moment for Embiid and his family, and the Sixers finally had another MVP of the league. Michael Lorenzen's no-hitter is coming in at number 7. This game was magical. I made a video on it back when it happened, but there were so many storylines in this game. Nick Castellanos had 2 homers, Weston Wilson hit his first career home run in his first career at-bat, and of course, Lorenzen threw the first Phillies no-hitter since Cole Hamels in 2015. It was a very emotional moment with his family in attendance, and you could see by his post-game interview how much that moment meant to him. Lorenzen threw over 120 pitches in this game, and as a fan, I was shaking all the way from the 7th inning until after it was complete. Definitely worthy of a top 10 sports moment for this city. I'm putting this moment at number 6 because the Sixers didn't get the job done in this series, and that is James Harden's incredible performances in games 1 and 4 in the Eastern Conference semifinals against the Boston Celtics. I know Philly despises Harden now, but in those 2 games, he put the team on his back and gave the Sixers all the hope in the world with his stellar play. In game 1, the Sixers were without Joel Embiid on the road, so they needed their big guys to step up. Harden did just that, scoring 45 points and saving the Sixers at the end of the game. He repeated his success in Game 4 with the Sixers down 2-1 in the series, scoring 42 points and getting the Sixers the W. This next moment was probably the best crowd reaction out of all the moments in my top 10, and that is Bryson Stott's wild card grand slam against the Marlins. Leading Miami 3-0 in Game 2, Stott came up with the bases loaded. This moment was extra special because of the sold-out crowd singing his walk-up song, A-OK. It sent chills down many spines in the city of Philadelphia, and it was capped off with him sending a shot deep into right center field, blowing the game and the series wide open. The crowd went insane, one of the loudest crowds the MLB has seen this season and probably in a little while. The Phillies would then win a very forgettable wildcard series against the Marlins, but this single moment will make the series remembered forever in the hearts of Phillies fans. I know there are a lot more Phillies moments in this top 10, but that's because the Phillies really had a magical season. Coming in at the number 4 spot is the standing ovations for Trey Turner and the home run he gave us in response. By now, we all know Turner's story from 2023, and that was he struggled mightily to start the first half of the season, and instead of booing him after an awful road trip, Philly welcomed him home with a standing ovation. This was unheard of before, especially by Philly fans, but it was the best medicine there was in fixing Trey Turner. He responded the next day by smashing a home run deep into left field. After this, Turner would go on to have an incredible rest of the season and helped lead the Phillies to the playoffs for the 2nd consecutive season. This moment shows how great Philly fans can be. Coming in at number 3 is the Eagles' game-tying drive in Super Bowl 57. This is ranked so high because of the stakes of the game and the time it took place. I understand the Eagles lost shortly after this, but this drive was the most emotional drive I've ever watched as an Eagles fan, other than the game-winning drive of Super Bowl 52. Watching Jalen Hurts throw up that deep ball to Devontae Smith and him catching it and getting out at the 1-yard line had me going crazy. I was actually tearing up watching this live, and after Jalen Hurts stormed in for the 2-point conversion, I thought I was going to witness the 2nd Super Bowl in franchise history. Even though they lost this game, that drive was really something special, and it's a shame that it really won't be remembered. The number 2 moment on my list had a real shot at being number 1, and that is Bryce Harper responding to Orlando Arcia in the 2023 NLDS. For context, after Harper made a base running blunder to end Game 2 against the Braves shortstop Orlando Arcia was mocking Harper in the locker room. He was heard saying "Attaboy Harper," which fueled Harper and the Phillies going into Game 3 with the series tied. When they got back to Philly, Bryce was locked in and he smashed 2 home runs in Game 3, staring Arcia down after each one. This propelled the Phillies into winning the series in 4 and moving on to the NLCS for the second year in a row. Harper continues to cement his legacy in Philadelphia, and this is just another one of those iconic moments. The moment that takes the number 1 spot is the Eagles' run to the Super Bowl. Though they didn't finish the job, that run was something special as they manhandled the Giants in the divisional round, then silenced the 49ers in the NFC Championship. That was some of the best football we have seen this team play in the history of the franchise, and they came oh so close to winning their second Super Bowl in 5 years. With how terrible the Eagles have been playing as of late, it's not that likely that we will see that same type of playoff dominance anytime soon, making that moment a one of a kind. In my opinion, that was the best moment in Philly sports this year. There are many moments deserving of the top 10, but I did my best to round them up into one list. If there's anything that I missed that you think I should have added, or anything that you think is not deserving of a top 10 spot, let me know in the comments below. 2023 was another year without a championship in Philadelphia, but we had a lot of great moments and memories that will last forever. Happy New Year, everybody.